Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to discuss current affairs of 10th May 2021. In this lecture, we are going to discuss 5 topics which are very much relevant to UPSC. So let's get started with our discussion and let us see first article. Title says Green Panel allows Great Nicobar Plan to advance. So this article mainly talking about Great Nicobar Plan. So we already saw about background regarding this article in our previous Hindu analysis lectures. So if you have remembered that, so recently Niti Aayog came up with some planning in this Great Nicobar area here. So because of this, there are some important concerns which were raised by environmentalists. So now let us try to see this article in a great detail. So now we are going to see what is this Environment Appraisal Committee which talk about this Great Nicobar Plan. So this topic will be important regarding GS paper 3 under Environment and Ecology. So this topic will be important regarding both prelims and mains. So I want to give you a small homework. Please open your atlas and you have to see where this Great Nicobar is there and where this Great Nicobar Plan it is going to happen. So this is your homework and don't forget to do this homework. And now let us see context. If you see context, it mainly says that Environment Appraisal Committee, that is EAC, it came up with one important decision here. So this Environment Appraisal Committee of Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forest, which mainly flagged off some serious concerns about this Niti Aayog's plan in this Great Nicobar area here. So it is one of ambitious project of Niti Aayog. So this committee removed the first hurdle which is facing by this project and it recommend for grants of terms of reference for this environment impact assessment studies. So because of this is in news. So if you see some details which are given in this article, it mainly says that so this proposal includes International Container Transshipment Terminal and also it includes Greenfield International Airport and power plant in this area and also transship complex. So these are some important proposals in this area. So if you're talking about concerns whenever we are going for development projects in this ecologically important area here, so we are having some concerns. So first one is there is missing information regarding seismic and tectonic hazards here. As we know this Andaman and Nicobar, they are seismically or tectonically active area. So whenever we are going for development in this area, so how much it is sustainable? So this is one important question we need to think about. And next one is there is no details of trees to be felled in this area. So whenever we are going for building of any infrastructure project or any development project, so how many trees that are going to fell, there is no proper data here regarding this plan in this Great Nicobar region. And next one is we don't know about fresh water requirement details and as well as what will be impact on leatherback turtle. So this leatherback turtle is one of important area here, that is especially in the Galathea Bay. So it is the world largest marine turtle, that is a leatherback turtle which is mainly seen in this area. So whenever we are going for developmental projects in this area, that will affect habitat of this leatherback turtles. So these are some issues. And if you see what is way forward, what can be done and what are recommendations which are given by this committee. So first and foremost thing here is we need for independent assessment regarding terrestrial and as well as marine biodiversity in this area. And we need to go for study on impact of dredging, reclamation, oil spills and port operations in this area. And we need to study on alternate sites of ports with a focus on ecological environment impact. And we need to know about details of labor and as well as labor camps when you are going for this developmental projects in this area. And next one is we need to also think about disaster management plan in this area. And also we need to go for detailed seismic and tsunami hazard map in this area. Whenever we are going for developmental projects, whenever we want to make that projects which are sustainable, then we need to go for seismic and tectonic hazard map and we need to go for efficient disaster management plan also. So these are some important things that should remain remembered regarding this article. And now let us see next article. Title says excessive use of oxygen in UP hospitals. So regarding this article, we already discussed detailedly about what is the background. So now we know that states, they are mainly facing lack of oxygen supply, and they are mainly asking center to procure and to supply this oxygen to these states to save number of lives who are suffering from this COVID-19, right? So whenever patients who are suffering with this COVID-19, we can see respiratory compromise. So in this respiratory compromise here, these patients, they need oxygen supply that to be given from externally. So this oxygen supply can be given by using some oxygen cylinders and as well as oxygen concentrators. So now states, they are mainly facing problem of lack of oxygen supply. So because of this, states mainly asking center to procure and to supply this oxygen to states, right? So because of this, recently we studied about centers, they need to go for oxygen audit. So whenever they are going for this oxygen audit, then they can understand how much amount of lack of oxygen that can be faced by the states. So because of this, based on that oxygen audit here center will go and will supply enough amount of oxygen for the states, right? So I think you can remember whatever we discussed. So now let us try to see this article in a very great detail. So this article will be important regarding GS paper 2 under health. So it is one of important development regarding this oxygen audit. So now let us see this article in a great detail. So if you see context, it mainly says that some hospitals in Uttar Pradesh, they are consuming oxygen at levels. There are several times which are higher than average. Okay. So first important thing is, so these UP hospitals, they are using oxygen which is higher than average limit. So this is the important thing that we found through preliminary report on oxygen audit. And if you see some details of this article, it mainly says that, so because of this report, now we understand that Uttar Pradesh hospitals are using high level of oxygen than average. So in this context, Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh directed the state and medical education departments to coordinate with such hospitals and to take action to balance consumption here, because we are facing lack of oxygen, right? And we are importing oxygen from other countries, and as well as we are getting aid from, that is foreign aid from different countries. They are sending oxygen cylinders, oxygen concentrators, etc. here. So in this crisis condition, we should use resource in a sustainable manner, right? So because of this direction which is given by center to CM of UP, that is Chief Minister of UP. So here government said that under observation, so reporting a shortage of medical oxygen in states. So because of this direction mainly given by center to state government. So this is just of this topic. And now let us see next article. Title says China rocket debris falls in Indian Ocean near Maldives. This article will be important regarding science and technology, which comes under GS paper 3. So already we discussed about background regarding this Chinese rocket. So China, which is mainly planning to go up with its own international space station, okay? So it want to go with space station here. So because of this, out of these three important phases, so first phase mainly launched recently. So rocket which carried this module, okay? So that rocket debris fall in Indian Ocean. So this is some background. And now let us talk about context here. So if you see context, it mainly says that debris from last stage of Chinese Long March rocket that carried a key component of its under construction space station that fell into waters of Indian Ocean, that is present west to Maldives. So again, I want to give you a small homework. Please refer some facts regarding what is this mission. And you have to see location of this Maldives also. And now let us see details of this article. So if you see details, it mainly says that re-entry of a rocket into Earth again. It is described by astrophysicists. It is the fourth largest uncontrolled recent that happened in our history. So here China manned the space agency with a vast majority of devices that burned up during the last month recently. And what happened rest of this debris which fall into sea area now. So if you're talking about facts, it mainly says that this Long March 5B rocket was carrying one important module of space station of China into space, that is Tinake. Okay, so this Tinake, it is a heavily harmony module. It is one of 3 key components for construction of Chinese space station. So if you're talking about some facts regarding this Chinese space station, so it is second after International Space Station, and it is designed as with a lifespan of about 10 years and maximum it can be run for 15 years. That means until 2037. So these are some important things that you should remember regarding this topic. I hope it is clear now. Now let us see next article. Title says a TRIPS waiver is useful but not a magic pill. So this article mainly talking about TRIPS. Regarding this TRIP, we had a detailed discussion. From last 4 days, we are discussing about this topic in a very great detail. So I think there is no need of explaining this topic. So let us see in brief what is this article talking about. So this article is important regarding GS paper 3 under economy. So now let us try to see this article in a great detail. So this article mainly talking about TRIPS waiver. So if you see context, it mainly says that US supported move regarding this TRIPS waiver. US has announced the support for waiving of intellectual property rights protection for this COVID-19 vaccine. That means if there is any country which is producing its vaccine, okay, so it is mainly applying for its patent or intellectual property rights. So after getting this patent, if any country want to use this patent, it need to get some permission from this country and they need to pay some lump sum amount of money, right? So this is about in detail about patents. So that means whenever here WTO is present, that is World Trade Organization. Under this World Trade Organization, we have TRIPS, okay. So this is mainly talking about trade related intellectual property rights. So what happened here? So whenever we are getting any waiver from this TRIPS, so members of this WTO, they can go for production of these vaccines such that these vaccines become solution to solve this problem of this global pandemic. Mainly to decrease transmission of this coronavirus, we need vaccines now. So if you are seeing about the world, we have many least developed countries and as well as developing countries. They do not have proper technology. They do not have proper knowledge regarding production of these new vaccines. So because of this, whenever we are getting waiver under this WTO, which will be very much helpful for countries especially who are poor, okay, and these developed countries mainly to get access to this vaccine and that to a cheaper cost, that can help to save number of lives. So here this decision of US recently is in news, okay. So this decision, it is a breakthrough in India and as well as South Africa here, because India and South Africa, they attempted to get WTO members to agree with such a waiver that will help to fight with pandemic equitably. Because this pandemic, it is not a problem of one country or two countries, but overall world which is facing problem with this COVID-19, right? So mainly to fight against this coronavirus throughout the world, so these vaccines are one important solution now in these conditions. So if you see some facts regarding this agreement, so in 1995 we came up with this agreement on TRIPS, and this TRIPS stands for Trade Related Intellectual Property Rights here. So this TRIPS mainly requires ratifying of countries to adopt a minimum standard of intellectual property rights that will helpful mainly to protect creators and as well as to promote innovation also. So recently India and South Africa, they proposed a waiver under this TRIPS, okay. So whenever we are going for waiving of this intellectual property rights, for example that includes patents, copyrights, trademarks, etc., that will be very much helpful for prevention and containment for this treatment of this COVID-19. And if this waiver is granted, then WTO member countries, okay, they will get waiver for temporary period, and for this period they can produce these vaccines and that can be supplied to people of their countries, and finally they can save lives of number of people, okay. So whenever we are getting this waiver of the TRIPS, that will mainly helps to immunize, and as well as we can take some measures adopted by countries to vaccinate their populations from country of illegality, which comes under this WTO law. And now let us talk about what is the need to waive patents. So first one is, whenever we are having patents, that means some companies or mainly having monopoly. So mainly to address this monopoly, so this will be very much useful. And next one is it will be also helpful for lifting off for patients. That will allow the formula to be shared with other countries also. So whenever we are sharing this formula with another countries, they can produce these vaccines, and that will be very much helpful to fight against this global pandemic. And next one is if you are talking about vaccine cost, whenever we are developing that vaccine within our country here, then we can have some reduction in cost. So whenever we are going for taking of any branded drug or patent drug, so that will be cost very much high. So whenever we are going for production of these generic drugs, then cost will be very low and it will be cheaper, and it will be also affordable to people of countries. And next one is it will be helpful for equitable distribution of vaccines here. And next one is it will also help especially poorer countries, or we can say least developed countries, which are facing number of shortages regarding this COVID-19 vaccines, and also it will ease on healthcare system burden now. So now let us talk about what is significance for India. So first one is it will be helpful in increasing production of vaccines. It will also helpful in scale up in production of vaccines. Finally, it will help to meet demand. So as we know, we have target of 20 to 30 lakh vaccines that should be given per day, but we are facing there is decrease in supply of vaccines. So whenever we are having this patent waiver, then we can increase our production, and it also helps to meet the demand, and we can get these vaccines at affordable prices to everyone. So now let us try to talk about why this article said about this waiver. It is not a magic pill. So first one here is it would not solve the problem of lack of access to technology now. How? That means many countries do not have proper technology. So whenever there is no proper technology, how can they produce these vaccines? So this is first important thing. And next one is it does not impose legal requirement on pharmaceutical companies to transfer or share technology. So they can share only process of making these vaccines but not technology. So this is also one important concern. And next one is it would not change nature of domestic IP regulations. Okay, so this is one important thing. So waiver will work only if countries simultaneously address non-IP bottlenecks. For example, in many countries they are facing some challenges like technology transfer, production constraints, and as well as other logistic challenges. So if you're talking about logistic challenges or many challenges like inadequacy of supply chains, and as well as unavailability of raw materials, and as well as manufacturing of vaccines and medicines, etc. So these are first we need to address this non-IP related bottlenecks, then only this IP related things will be very useful to production of this COVID-19 vaccines. So this is just of this topic, and now let us see next article. The title says outreach and overreach. So this article mainly talking about the judiciary. Okay. So now let us try to say why this article which is saying about judicial overreach. So after listening to this article, then you can understand why title which is given like outreach and overreach. So this article mainly talking about judiciary. So this will be important regarding GS paper 2, which comes under polity. So now let us try to discuss this article in a very great detail. So if you see, this article mainly talking about judiciary and now health crisis. So if you are talking about context here, judicial intervention is very much necessary when central government, that is Union of India, which failed to respond to health crisis. So now we can see our central government which failed to respond in this health crisis. So because of this, in this context, judicial intervention is very important. So recently Supreme Court gave order to form 12 members National Task Force, and this National Task Force which will be effective and which will be mainly focusing on transparent allocation of medical oxygen to states and as well as union territories. That should be done mainly on scientific and as well as regional and equitable basis. So if you see here, Supreme Court also mandated to review and suggest measures for ensuring availability of essential drugs and as well as remedial measures to meet future emergencies during pandemic. So these are some important things that you should remember. And if you're talking about this National Task Force, it becomes a judicially empowered group that may significantly guide and also that will help to handle health crisis in this second wave of this coronavirus. And even Karnataka High Court ordered center to supply about 1200 metric tons of medical oxygen daily. So in this context, here center rushed to challenge this order of this Karnataka High Court to Supreme Court. So finally Supreme Court came up with appointment or establishment of this 12 members National Task Force. So because of this, here Supreme Court came up with establishment of this task force by taking or overriding executive. So because of this article mainly said that it is judicial overreach. So this is just of this topic. I hope it is clear. So by this we are concluding today. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. Please subscribe to my channel and please enroll this current affairs package. So details of this current affairs package that is given in description box. So if you want to talk to me directly, you can call me on this number 8074765513. Okay, thank you so much.